Hello everyone, this is part 10 of What If Naruto Was the Hollow God, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Finally, after 2 weeks of going all over the EN, hunting down rogue ninja, Sako was finally found by Pain, or better said, she was found by Pains, as there were 6 of them, all with the orange hair, all with the Rinnegan eyes, and all with some black rods on their bodies. To say that Sako was surprised by their appearance, would be an understatement. Sako stood still and calm in front of 6 Pains, looking at them with interest in her eyes. She was trying to determine what they really are, and how can they all have the same eyes. One thing that she did notice is, outside of them being very strange, is that they appear to not be alive. To Sako, they all felt like walking corpses. The only reason she can even notice that, is because she is not normal human, so she is capable of noticing stuff like, whether someone is truly alive, or they are just puppets. These 6 men in front of her, don't feel alive at all, and that made her understand right then and there, that she will potentially be fighting corpses manipulated by someone from afar. How afar, she will have to determine later. You sure are a hard person to find, one of the Pains, the one with spiky orange hair, who stood in front of the others, and appeared to be the boss, said. I've been searching for you for weeks. And why would the Akatsuki be interested in me? Sako asked with an amused look on her face, and without even bothering to hide the fact that she knows about the Akatsuki. Pain narrowed his eyes at her blatant questions. He knew that she knew about the Akatsuki, but was almost expecting her to keep it quiet at first. You and your companions have been mentioned to me by one of my subordinates, Pain said, and watched for Sako's reaction. He got none, which surprised him again. He said that you and your friends are strong, and are worthy of being a part of the Akatsuki. I'm here to invite you to join my group and help us achieve the everlasting peace. Sako hummed and gained a faraway look for a second, before she asked. And why would I be interested in joining your little group? I'm satisfied with my current life as a bounty hunter, especially since I don't have to follow orders. Pain narrowed his eyes at her. As I said, he spoke. We are trying to bring the everlasting peace in the end. Are you not interested in being a part of that? Sako shrugged. I guess it would depend on the way you are trying to achieve that peace. She said. There are some things not worth doing in the quest for peace. That might be your opinion, Pain said. But in order to bring peace and stop more and more people from killing each other, I'm willing to do anything. Sako looked at Pain for a while, making it look like she was thinking about his words. She knew that she will join. It was a mission given to her by Naruto, but she can't outright agree, as that might be suspicious. She will have to pretend to be hard to get, so, she said. I don't believe in the need to do anything in order to achieve peace, Sako said, and the 6 paths of Pain narrowed their eyes and tensed, ready for a battle. But I'm willing to give you a chance. Now, the Pains looked at her with curious looks. What do you have in mind? The leading Pain asked. Fight me, Sako said, getting raised eyebrows from Pains. Show me that you are worthy of me working for you, and if you prove yourself, I might agree to join you little crew. One of the paths of Pain, the one with the long hair tied back in a long ponytail and with a fringe hanging down from the right side of his head, walked in front of the others, before he performed hand seals for the summoning jutsu, and slammed his hand on the ground. Form the giant puff of smoke, a giant, 2-headed dog with purple eyes just like Pain's and with black rods on its face, appeared. Next to the dog, there is a bird even bigger than the dog, with green-colored feathers, and with orange drill-like beak. The bird also had Rinnegan eyes and black rods. Sako looked at the 2 beasts in wonder, with her eyebrows risen slightly, before she heard the main Pain. So be it. The 2 beasts then charged at Sako, who looked at him, held her right hand on her sword hilt, and smirked. The battle was on. XXX. Naruto Uzumaki stood behind some trees, and was watching a very interesting face-off between 2 members of the Akatsuki, and the team from the Leaf consisting of Asuma Sarutobi, Shikamaru Nara, as well as the so-called Eternal Gate Guards, Izumo and Kotetsu. He has been there for about an hour and has been watching everything, but didn't interfere, as he wanted to see how this will go, but he also wanted to see the kind of powers 2 Akatsuki members have. To say he was surprised when he saw one of the two have his head sliced off, and yet still be alive, is the understatement of the year. Naruto really wondered what kind of a being Hiden is, and who the hell is that Jashin god Hiden keeps mentioning. Naruto also found the other Akatsuki member, Kakazu, very interesting, but not as much as Hiden. Then again, he hasn't seen much of Kakazu's powers, so that might change later. Right now, Naruto was watching as Asuma was dealt the damage Hiden himself gave to himself, and was interested in that kind of power. Damage transference of this kind is definitely not something he has ever seen, and he has lived for over a millennia. He smiled at the thought of all the interesting powers this shinobi world seems to have, and though they are not as destructive as the powers wielded by Hollows and Shinigami, they were definitely interesting. Hiden has just stabbed himself with the rod straight through the chest, and Naruto heard Shikamaru yell Asuma's name. Asuma was kneeling on the ground, frozen in shock, before he coughed some blood from his throat. Asuma's gaze was wide-eyed, and it looked like he was looking at Hiden, though that was uncertain. For all Naruto knew, Asuma could be simply watching in the distance. Hiden, though, was looking at Asuma and had a smirk on his face, while some blood was falling from the side of his mouth. He still held the rod he stabbed himself with, and his three-bladed scythe was still embedded into his gut, but he seemed to be satisfied with his work. Shikamaru was using whatever strength he had left, to run toward Asuma in order to help him, though Naruto knew that at this point, neither of Asuma's companions could help him. The man is still alive, but would be dead very soon. Naruto sighed as he looked at the image of the falling Asuma. According to Sakura, Asuma and his entire genin team were on Naruto's side all these years, even when most of the village was against them. As such, Naruto wishes to save Asuma before he dies, but the problem is that the only way for Asuma to be saved at this point is if Naruto turns him into a human, hollow hybrid. That is the problem because if he does that, Asuma would have to join the Whirlpool, since there is no way that Naruto would save him and then let him go back to the leaf with his new powers, and the memory of Naruto saving him. That means that, if Naruto is to save Asuma, he would have to find a way to convince the other three that Asuma is dead. Unfortunately, with all of the powers Naruto has, memory manipulation is not one of them. Then again, Tayuya is capable of that. Naruto was surprised when suddenly, a flock of crows attacked Hiden and Kakazu, before four more leaf ninja appeared and saved the two eternal guards from dying at Kakazu's hands, literally. Naruto watched as Choji and Ino took Asuma and Shikamaru on the roof of the nearby building, while one ninja was standing on the edge of the building keeping an eye on the Akatsuki zombie duo. The fourth leaf ninja, the one with the scar on his face, approached Kotetsu. "Are you all right?" he asked Kotetsu. "I'm fine," Kotetsu replied, while coughing slightly from almost being strangled by Kakazu. "What about Asuma?" Naruto couldn't see those on the roof from his position, so he wasn't sure what's going on, but he could guess what's happening. Asuma is dying, and as such, he is most likely saying his final words, while his team were crying. That is the picture Naruto can't see, and yet at the same time, he can see it. Surprisingly, Naruto was wrong about the picture. He seems to have hurried up with the final words, because he could suddenly see a movements on the roof, and realized that Kakazu went up there, most likely not willing to give up on the bounty which was placed on Asuma's head. Naruto sighed and cursed. Why couldn't have I just continued with my original plan, and killed everyone until there is nothing left in the end? Naruto wondered. Why did I have to become such a bleeding heart? Naruto cursed, and then he disappeared from where he was standing. In an instant, Naruto was in front of a surprised Hiden, who didn't even have time to blink, let alone dodge a vicious kick to the torso from Naruto, which sent him flying for miles through the air. Naruto completely ignored the leaf ninja who were near Hiden, and disappeared again, this time, appearing in front of Kakazu, who was in a battle against the leaf ninja who has summoned crows earlier. What the? Kakazu managed to say when he saw Naruto appear in front of him, but couldn't say anything else, because Naruto grabbed him by his face, before he slammed the back of Kakazu's head on the building's roof, dragged him across it for a few seconds, creating a trench in the process, and finally, Naruto tossed Kakazu toward where he kicked Hiden earlier. Kakazu flied like a bullet through the air, before he disappeared with a twinkle in the sky. Naruto stood there for a moment, before he turned and looked at the shocked faces of the leaf ninja, who couldn't believe what just happened. He looked at them all for a few seconds, as if he was judging them, before he sighed, and started walking toward them, making everyone on guard. "You stay right there," Alba yelled. "Who are you, and what do you want from us?" He was scared to hell after he saw how one guy sent flying 2 members of the Akatsuki, which all of them couldn't handle. Naruto stopped walking and looked at the ninja who addressed him. He sighed again, before he said, I saved your lives. As such, I think that you should calm down, and don't give me any trouble. Besides, if you couldn't defeat those 2 imbeciles, you stand no chance against me. Naruto's blue eyes glowed with unimaginable power, making all the leaf ninja gulp, while Ino, surprisingly, blushed when she saw Naruto and felt his power. She wasn't a sensory ninja, but even as such, she can sense Naruto's power, and it was intoxicating. Naruto walked and stood above Asuma. He looked at him for a few moments, before he sighed for God only knows how many times that day, and shook his head. Listen up, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. I'm going to save Asuma's life. Everyone looked at Naruto wide-eyed, and with their jaws on the floor. But, all of you cannot know about that. Now they were all surprised, including Shikamaru, who is supposed to be the smartest among them, well, the smartest not counting Naruto, who was a genius on the level no Nara has ever been. What does that mean? Ino asked. Naruto looked at Ino, and against his better judgment, he smiled at her. The moment he did that, Ino blushed furiously, and looked away from him, making the other leaf ninja who saw this, groan in disbelief. That means, Naruto spoke, that I will save Asuma's life, he will live, but all of you will believe that he died right here and now. What? Shikamaru stuttered, while everyone else, except Ino, went into battle stance. Why would you do that? I don't want anyone to know that I can save the lives of people who are as close to death as Asuma, Naruto said. His injuries can't be healed by anyone in this world except me. As such, I'm the only one who can keep him alive. The question now is, do you want him to die here and now, or do you want him to live? Of course we want him to live, Choji shouted. But we don't want to think that he is dead. Actually, how can you even make all of us forget about this? I can't, Naruto said, now confusing him even more. But, there is someone I know who has the power to manipulate people's minds to a level no Yamanaka or anyone else in the world can. That person can rewrite your memories. Make you believe that Asuma died, while he is alive. You will then go back to the leaf, and inform everyone what happened. The village would mourn the death of one of their shinobi, and then they would all go back to their normal lives. As for Asuma, he will have to stay at the same place I'm staying, and will have to work for me. That is the price for his life. It is up to all of you to decide if you will accept my proposal or not. The leaf ninja all looked at each other, and thought about what they should do. Asuma, who is conscious right now, has heard everything, and is also thinking about what to do. Finally, after few minutes of silence, Asuma surprisingly spoke. Will I be able to go back to the leaf someday? Everyone looked at the dying man. They were all surprised by the question. His comrades because it would appear that he was thinking about accepting the proposal of the unknown man, while Naruto was surprised because he didn't think that Asuma would ask that sort of question. Naruto guessed that there is someone in the leaf that Asuma cares a lot about, because he doesn't think that he cares a lot about the leaf itself, after what Sakura told him about the current state of the ninja village. Why would you want to go back there? Naruto asked. I know about the current state of the leaf. As such, I know that some of you are not very well liked because of your support to the deceased Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Everyone stared wide-eyed at Naruto. Even Asuma's eyes grew wide at the question, and because of what Naruto seems to know. It made them wonder, how he knows that. Asuma spoke. There is someone there I care about a lot, he said, drawing the attention on himself. Naruto realized that he was right, though he still doesn't know who it could be, besides maybe Konohamaru. The leaf ninja though. They knew perfectly well who Asuma was talking about, as they knew about his relationship with Kurenai. Is that someone really important to you? Naruto asked. Why yes, Asuma said. Naruto sighed. I don't know if you will be able to go to the leaf for a little while, Naruto said, and he immediately saw Asuma frown. But, nothing prevents you from keeping a watch on them, as long as they don't see you or know that you are alive. That information will have to wait for some time. Before Asuma could say anything else, Ino said. Asuma, you can't really be thinking of accepting this. Shikamaru though, he sighed, and held his head in his hands. If he doesn't accept, he will die, Shikamaru said, drawing everyone's eyes on himself. We all know that. But we can't let total strangers mess with our minds, Ino argued. Who is to say that this guy can save Asuma in the first place, and doesn't just want his body for whatever reason? Oh, don't worry about that, Naruto said. I will heal him right here and now in front of all of you, so you will know that I wasn't messing around. After that, I will have someone simply rewrite your memories. You will think that Asuma died, and that his body was taken by the Akatsuki. That way it will be explained why you didn't bring his body back. That still doesn't make me trust you that you won't mess with our minds. Ino still argued. She, as a member of the Yamanaka clan, knows better than anyone else how important it is not to allow anyone to mess with your mind, as that could be catastrophic. Naruto looked at her. You do realize that he will die any time now if you don't let me save him, right? Ino lowered her head. She of course knew that, and she wanted Asuma to survive, but she had a problem with people messing with her head. Finally, Ino relented, and nodded her head. She has agreed to let Naruto save Asuma. The other Leaf Ninja, all nodded as well, though very reluctantly, especially the older ones. Shikamaru and Choji just wanted Asuma to survive, and didn't care about the consequences. Naruto created a shadow clone, without any hand seals, and cloudlessly, then sent it to bring Tayuya. The clone nodded, and then opened a garganta, much to the shock and fright of the Leaf Ninja, and then walked through it. The garganta closed after the clone passed though. Naruto then kneeled next to Asuma, not bothering to answer on the Leaf Ninja's question about the jutsu his shadow clone used. Naruto then bit his finger, drawing blood, much to the confusion of the Leaf Ninja. He then let a drop of blood fall into barely alive Asuma's mouth. Naruto then stood up, and watched, just like the Leaf Ninja, as Asuma started to glow around his chest, before the glow spread and completely enveloped his body in a golden glow. The glowing continued for a few moments, before it disappeared, and then the Leaf Ninja watched in shock and fascination, as Asuma opened his eyes, and then suddenly stood back up, as good as new and looking like nothing happened to him. What the hell? Ino shouted. How is this possible? What did you do? She asked, looking at Naruto with narrowed eyes. I'm not human, Naruto said, shocking everyone into looking at him with wide eyes and jaws on the floor. Not entirely anyway. As a few moments ago, neither is Asuma. What? Asuma stuttered out. Then, what am I? You are a hybrid, Naruto said, but then he saw the confused eyes, making his sigh, and then he explained. You are a hybrid between human and a hollow. A hollow is, Naruto then went and explained what hollows are and how one becomes a hollow. All this was simply unbelievable to the Leaf Ninja, who would have thought that Naruto is messing with them, if not for a fact that he just saved Asuma from something which there was no way of being saved, and also because of the fact he had a serious look on his face, showing that he was not messing around. I was once a normal human, but I've become a hollow after my death, Naruto spoke. I have lived for over a millennia as a hollow in Huko Mundo, before I was given a chance to return here in this world as my original self. I was made into a hybrid before I returned, and one of my powers is that I can make anyone into hybrids as long as they are alive. If a person is dead, then I can revive them, but only as long as their soul has not left this realm. If it has, then I can't do anything. One of the reasons I decided to save Asuma is because of something I have heard from a Leaf Ninja I revived just recently. This caused everyone to look at Naruto with interest in their eyes. There is no point in telling you who that person is, as you will not remember it anyway. As for Asuma, he will meet that person once we get to where I live. Before Naruto could say anything else, and before he could be asked another question, another garganta opened up, and Tayuya stepped though. The moment she did, Shikamaru recognized her as the person he fought 3 years ago during the chase after Sasuke, and then he growled. You. Tayuya heard the growl, and looked at where it came from. She saw Shikamaru and recognized him. She narrowed her eyes and stared at him. You damn brat, she growled. I should kill you right now for what you and that blonde bitch did to me 3 years ago. You were an enemy, Shikamaru said, making all Leaf Ninja tense up. You were working for Orochimaru and took Sasuke from the village. You would have killed me that day if Temari didn't show up, so you have no reason to get angry at me for what happened. Tayuya and Shikamaru glared at each other, while the Leaf Ninja looked between them. Choji finally recognized Tayuya as well, along with the Leaf Ninja with the scar on his face. He was one of the few who had a run-in with Sound 4, and now that he was reminded of them, he was able to recognize Tayuya. Shikamaru, who is she? Ino asked. She was a member of the Sound 4, Shikamaru said. It's that group of sound ninjas sent by Orochimaru to pick up Sasuke from the Leaf Village. She was one of the 5 ninja we had to fight in order to get to Sasuke. She was also the one I fought, and as I said, she would have defeated me and probably killed me that day, if not for Temari. It actually makes me wonder, how are you alive? I saw that your entire lower body was crushed under the trees which were destroyed by Temari's jutsu. There was no way you could have survived that. Tayuya smirked. I did survive, but then she frowned. I would have died eventually though, if not for NA, she caught herself here and noticed a glare from Naruto, if not for Alessandro, who saved me. Everyone noticed a slip-up, but none except Shikamaru paid it any attention. He filed it for later, not that he will remember it later. Tayuya looked at Naruto and asked, "Why am I here? Your shadow clone didn't mention anything except that you need me for something." Naruto nodded. "I saved Asuma's life." Naruto pointed at Asuma. Tayuya looked at the man and rose her eyebrows, "But the rest can't remember that. I need you to make it look like Asuma died," after he said his final words. The others were then beaten up by the Akatsuki who, for some reason, just left them alive, but apparently took Asuma since his corpse was gone, and it was known that Kakazu wants Asuma's bounty. "I'm assuming he is coming with us?" Tayuya questioned, and Naruto nodded. She then looked at the Leaf Ninja, and scowled at them. "I'm surprised you lot are agreeing with this." Ino scowled back. "Of course we are not happy with some strangers messing with our minds," she said. "But considering that Asuma's life was in danger, we didn't have other choice. We would rather him being alive without us knowing, than him being dead." "Oh. How touching," Tayuya mocked. "Willing to risk me whipping your minds back to your birth just to save your sensei." I could almost cry. She whipped a fake tear from her eye, making all the Leaf Ninja frown at Tayuya's mocking, while Naruto groaned. "Tayuya, enough," Naruto said. "Just do it." Tayuya shrugged. "I've got to have some fun, from time to time." She then went and pulled a flute. Not the same she used when she was a sound ninja, though. This one was different, but it looked pretty much the same. She then took it to her lips, and started playing a nice melody. The Leaf Ninja, except Shikamaru, was surprised by what she is doing. Shikamaru knew that she used genjutsu with her flute and can summon some kinds of ogres, but he didn't understand how she would be able to manipulate their minds with a type of genjutsu he knew she uses. For half a minute, Tayuya played a nice melody, with nothing happening, until all Leaf Ninja felt lightheaded, and their sight got blurry. Before even one of them could ask what's happening, all Leaf Ninja, except Asuma, fell on the ground, unconscious. Tayuya didn't stop though. She continued to play for a few more minutes, before she finally stopped. Once she did, she returned the flute back to the pouch and looked at Naruto. "It's done." Naruto nodded in understanding, while Asuma didn't understand a thing. "What happened to them?" Asuma asked. "I hypnotized them," Tayuya spoke, "and then I rewrote some of their memories to match what we want them to know and not what actually happened." "What did you tell them about my final words?" Asuma suddenly asked, confusing Naruto and Tayuya. "Why is that important?" Tayuya asked. "I have a reason to ask." Asuma replied. Tayuya shrugged. "I don't know, the usual, I guess. Whatever people say in their final moments, if they have a chance to say anything, that is." Asuma looked at his team, particularly at Shikamaru, before he asked. "Can you change one more thing in Shikamaru's mind?" Tayuya raised her eyebrows, but still nodded. "What would that be?" she asked. Asuma went and told Tayuya what he wants her to put in Shikamaru's mind. Both Naruto and Tayuya were surprised, and Naruto now understood who Asuma has in the Leaf Village that he cares for enough to go back there, even though he is not liked. Hiden and Kakazu stood at the fingers of the statue in the cave somewhere. Well, it was their holograms which were standing there, while their bodies are somewhere else. Everyone else in the Akatsuki was also there, including a new member, Sako, formerly of the Busujima clan of the Land of Iron. All of them took one look at the zombie duo, and saw how beaten up they are, especially Hiden, who barely has anything left of his Akatsuki robe. "Hiden, Kakazu, what happened?" Pain asked with narrowed eyes. Hiden growled in anger, while Kakazu had a thinking look on his face. Kakazu started to say. "I have no idea." His reply confused everyone in the Akatsuki except Hiden, who was just as much in the dark about what happened as Kakazu was. One minute he was playing with Leaf Ninja, and the next he felt an unbelievable pain and was flying through the air. Kakazu joined him soon after. The same goes for Kakazu. He was messing with the leaf ninja who controls the crows, humoring him with a little taijutsu sparing, and then there was some dude, who grabbed him by the face, dragged him through the roof and then tossed him in the same direction towards where he previously kicked Hidden. Kakazu was confused as to how could something like that happen. He and Hidden were not weak, nor slow, but whoever that person was, has speed and strength no regular human could possibly possess. Kakazu is stronger than Hidden, faster as well, and more observing. This means that while Hidden saw nothing but a blur which kicked him, Kakazu was able to recognize a male with blonde hair and beard, and blue eyes while he was being held by the face and dragged through the roof. Because of that, he was sure that the guy seemed familiar for some reason, but Kakazu can't remember from where. We were messing out with some leaf ninja in front of the bounty office, Kakazu started to explain. Hidden pretty much killed one of them. I believe his name is Asuma Sarutobi and he has 35 mil bounty on his head. Itachi rose his eyebrows at this, but said nothing. Then some reinforcements from the leaf showed up, but they were nothing special, and we would have dealt with them in no time. But then, Kakazu stopped talking as he was still unable to come to fully understand what the hell happened. Hidden growled again, and started shouting and swearing, promising pain and sacrifice to Jashin, of whoever that person was. Everyone in the Akatsuki were totally confused by the way two of their members were acting, as they have never seen them like this. This was new, and whatever happened, was raising red flags in Pain's head. Someone showed up, Kakazu spoke again, making everyone look at him. While I was messing with one leaf ninja on the roof of the bounty office, Hidden was kicked so hard he was sent flying through the sky, several eyes widened at that, while few narrowed theirs, then, whoever kicked him, appeared on the roof where I was, in an instant, grabbed me by the face, slammed on the roof, and dragged for several meters, before he tossed me in the same direction as Hidden, with the same speed and power as if I was kicked. I have no idea how that was possible and who could have done it. I have never thought that there is someone with that much speed and physical power in this world. We were both flying for miles, before we crushed down. That should have need impossible for anyone using pure strength. Were you able to see how it was? Pain asked. He was very curious about who could it be, and, while he won't admit it, he was slightly concerned. Unknown to him, his feelings were shared by few other members of the Akatsuki. I saw nothing, Hidden shouted, and then went on another rant, and another line of cursing. Kakazu though. I was able to see a golden blonde hair, full facial beard, along with blue eyes, and some markings around the eyes, Kakazu said, making everyone raise their eyebrows, except one member, who smirked. I can swear that I saw him somewhere, but I can't remember where. Before Pain could say anything, a female voice said, "You run into Alessandro," the voice which belongs to Sako, said. Everyone now looked at her and had either raised eyebrows or narrowed eyes. You mean your previous partner? Alessandro Stark. Pain questioned, and Sako nodded. Yes, she confirmed. He looks a bit different than in the bingo book because the picture there is outdated for about 3 years. But from the description, I'm pretty sure it's him, as he is the only one who has enough speed and physical power to do something like that. And why would he attack our members? Pain asked. Was he after their bounties like he was after Sasori and Deidara? I don't think so, Sako said. If he was, he would have killed them and then taken the bodies, but he just kicked him away. That proves that he was after something else. Maybe it has something to do with those leaf ninja, but I can't be sure. Maybe he was searching for you, Kisum said. You were his partner in bounty hunting. Sako again shook her head. If he was, he would have beaten Hidden and Kakazu, and then questioned them about our location. Since he didn't do that, that means that, either he doesn't know that I have joined the Akatsuki, or he does, but doesn't care that I joined you and abandoned him. I was just one of many who were working with him on bounty hunting, so he might think that I'm unneeded. Pain will not say it out loud, but he doesn't know which of the two options said by Sako were worse. If it's the former, and Alessandro is after the Akatsuki to reclaim Sako, then they are in for a hard battle, since the guy has shown to be incredibly strong. If it's the latter, and he doesn't care that Sako has abandoned him and joined the Akatsuki, well, Pain doesn't even want to know how powerful some other members of that group are if Sako would be deemed unnecessary, when she alone has destroyed 5 of his Pain bodies, and almost brought down the 6th as well, before he was able to subdue her. How do we fight him? Pain asked. Sako looked at him with raised eyebrows. You don't, she said, getting raised eyebrows in return. If you see him, you run away, fast, and if you are lucky, he will let you go. If you are not lucky, well, you are dead. But trust me, there is no battling him. He is powerful and skilled enough to fight and kill just about anyone. Everyone from the Akatsuki looked at her as if she was insane. They couldn't possibly believe what she has said, as it sounds unbelievable. If he is that powerful, then why did you leave him and join us? Black Zetsu asked with narrowed eyes. He is very suspicious about all of this. He has been around for a long time, and has seen powerful people across the centuries, but not many could have taken on the entire roster of the Akatsuki and win with no problem. The only ones coming to mind are Hagoromo, his sons, and their reincarnations, Hashirama and Madara. Few others, like Minato Namikaze, might come close, but even he wouldn't be able to take out 9S rank ninja by himself. Whoever this Alessandro Stark is possibly a very big threat to his plans, and he must find out as soon as possible who he is, where he's coming from, and how to stop him. If he doesn't and his plans for the Akatsuki fail, his mother will not be happy with the fact that she will have to wait even longer to be unleashed upon the world. Sako looked at Zetsu and shrugged. One reason is that I was afraid of him. Her response stunned everyone. It's hard to work with someone you are afraid of. The other reason is that I simply didn't think that he cared about me enough to come after me even if I abandoned him. We weren't close. We just worked together, and that's that. So what is his reason for saving the Leaf Ninja? Pain asked. Sako shrugged. I don't know, she of course was lying, partly anyway. She didn't know why he saved this particular group of Leaf Ninja, but if she was to guess, there is probably someone in the group Naruto cares about because they were on his side not against him. Does he have some kind of goal in life? Pain asked again. Or is he just satisfied with being a bounty hunter? Sako hummed, and made it look like she is thinking about the question. In a way, she was thinking about it, but she was thinking on how to lie. Well, she finally spoke. He always spoke about some kind of unity, though he never explained what that meant, and I knew better than to ask. Everyone in the Akatsuki thought about what Sako said about the goal of Alessandro Stark, and what this unity might mean. They unfortunately came up with nothing. Pain finally decided to stop thinking about Alessandro, and focus on the more pressing matters, like the extraction of the two-tailed beast from its Jinchuriki which was currently lying on the floor in the middle of the cavern. Let's proceed with the extraction of the two tails, Pain said. I will find a way to deal with Stark after this is done. The others nodded, and then performed the hand seals for the jutsu which will extract the beast from the Jinchuriki. Sako looked at the young, blonde-haired woman floating mid-air surrounded by blue chakra with pink chakra leaving her body through her mouth and nose. She couldn't help but sigh in her head at how fortunate this girl was that Pain decided to send her to capture the Jinchuriki, instead of Hiden and Kakazu who were meant to be the ones who captured her. That job was given to Sako as a way of initiation in the Akatsuki and to see if she would be able to do the job, even though she has proven her power when she destroyed 5 of Pain's 6 bodies, and only lost to the last one because she wanted to and not because she was actually defeated. Pain thought that he won because he was strong, but was unnerved by the fact that he almost lost, especially since he sees himself as a god, because of the dojutsu he has. After he brought Sako in the Akatsuki HQ in the Land of Rain, he told her that he wants to see if she would be capable of capturing a Jinchuriki, and sent her to the Land of Lightning to capture the Two Tails, who was going to be in a secluded area on a mission sent by the village hidden in the clouds, Council. The Two Tails Jinchuriki was sent on the mission so that she can be captured by the Akatsuki, who have made a deal with Kumo. Apparently, the Akatsuki promised to leave the 8 Tails alone, if they were given the Two Tails. The Kumo Council and the Raikage jumped at the chance and practically handed over the weaker Jinchuriki while they kept the stronger, who is also the Raikage's brother. Poor sons of bitches didn't know that the Akatsuki never intended to keep their end of the deal, and planned to go after the 8 Tails as soon as possible. The reason Yugito ni, the two-tailed Jinchuriki was lucky, is because Naruto has made a seal which will prevent the Jinchuriki from dying in case their Biju was extracted. Naruto made this seal after Gaara was killed by the extraction, and has taught that seal to his closest companions and allies. Sako has used it on Yugito after she defeated the blonde-haired Kumo Kunoiki. Of course, the other members of the Akatsuki don't know about this, and they never will. One of the things that Sako was able to make Pain give her in return for her joining the Akatsuki, were the corpses of the Jinchuriki after the Biju were extracted from them. Naturally, Pain was unnerved by this, but seeing that Sako is really powerful and will be a great addition to the Akatsuki, he agreed with her request, and Sako will be able to get her hands on Yugito's dead body after the Biju was extracted. The reason the members of the Akatsuki won't know that the Jinchuriki are surviving, is because the seal placed on them takes about 10 minutes to activate and revive them, which is enough time for Sako to take the body and leave before anyone notices anything. Sako still needs to find a way to get to the body of the other Jinchuriki and place the seal on them after they are captured and before the Biju are extracted, because she won't be the one who goes after all of them. She also needs to be close to the place where the sealing takes place, so that even if she is at the sealing site as a hologram, she will be able to get to the body before it gets revived, and gets noticed by those who really are at the sealing site, like it was the case with Sasori and Deidara with Gaara. XXX. Asuma walked out of the Garganta, following after Tayuya, and found himself in front of an unbelievable sight. He was standing at the top of the entryway of the land of whirlpools, and from there, he had a perfect look at the whole place. Asuma Sarutobi has been around a lot, and has seen a lot of places in his life, many of them beautiful in one way or another, but this town in the making, he was currently looking at, is the most beautiful he has ever seen, and the place doesn't even look to be finished yet. Where are we? He asked with astonishment in his voice. We are in the land of whirlpools. Tayuya replied as she was standing next to Asuma, Garganta already closed. Just like Asuma, she was admiring the place, even though she has lived there for the last 3 years, and has seen the construction from the start. Asuma looked at Tayuya, sharply, and with narrowed eyes. Isn't that the place where the Uzumaki clan used to live? He asked. Asuma was old enough to know about the Uzumaki clan. He was born around the time they were destroyed, but at that time, the history of the Uzumaki clan was taught in the Ninja Academy in Konoha, and has been until after the death of the 4th Hokage. As such, he knew about the history and the end of the Uzumaki clan, while the younger generations, those born few years before the death of the 4th Hokage, and after, don't know anything about that clan, as the Konoha Council has decided to expel everything about that clan and their whole existence from the academy. Thinking about it now, Asuma realized that it probably has something with the fact Naruto was an Uzumaki, and almost no one in the village wanted the boy to think that he is someone important, but instead they wanted him to think that he is a nobody. Yes, Tayuya replied. They used to live here until their destruction about 30 years ago. The place has been completely destroyed and no one has lived here ever since. Many have been coming here over the years, searching for anything of value, and trying to find the vault, but no one has been successful. 3 years ago, Alessandro decided to build a place where he can live along with those he cares about, as well as with those who need a place to stay, and have nowhere else to go, so he chose this place. We've been constructing it ever since. I see, Asuma muttered, as he looked around the place. He had to admit that he was impressed with how much work has been done in just 3 years. To turn a completely ruined place into something like this, it is unbelievable. He himself wouldn't have believed it if he didn't see it with his own eyes. But why this place? There must have been some other place around the EN, which would be better for the construction of the town or village. Alessandro and I are both Uzumaki, Tayuya said, making Asuma's eyes nearly pop out of his head. This is our ancestral land. As such, there is no better place for us to build a city than where our ancestors lived. Tayuya and Asuma looked at the city from their high standing point for a few more minutes, before Tayuya said, "Let's go to the leader's office, and introduce you to some people." Asuma and Tayuya jumped from the wall, and headed down. I thought that Alessandro is the leader. Asuma questioned. He is, Tayuya said. But he has left a clone behind to help me keep watch over everything. We are going to introduce you to him, and then to the other people Alessandro has turned into hybrids or pure hollows. After that, we will see what we can have you do, when you are not training to learn to control your new powers. Asuma nodded, before he continued to run next to Tayuya, in silence. Shimura Danzo, the 6th Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves, is not happy. Currently, he is seating behind his Hokage desk, looking at the remains of the Team 10, along with the other ninja who had a misfortune of fighting against the zombie duo of the Akatsuki. The reason Danzo is not happy, is because he just found out that, Asuma Sarutobi, has been killed, and on top of that, his body was taken by the Akatsuki. Now, while Danzo didn't particularly care about the son of his former rival, and the third Hokage, Asuma was still one of the elite Jonin in Konoha, and as such, was a valuable asset, one of the more powerful ones in the Leaf. How did you manage to run into the Akatsuki and on top of that, end up fighting them? Danzo asked the ninja in front of him. Your mission had nothing to do with them. So what happened? Shikamaru sighed. He knew that Danzo didn't like Naruto, or any one member of Team 10 because they supported Naruto, but he also knew that Asuma was a strong shinobi and as such, was a valuable asset to the village. One which will be hard to replace. It turns out, that the people who killed Asuma's friend, and the ones we were sent to find, were the members of the Akatsuki, Shikamaru explained. One of them, has a hots for money, and that was the reason they killed that monk. He was also interested in Asuma because of his bounty, and from the moment he saw him, he didn't want Asuma to escape. We all fought as best we could, but it seems that the guy we fought, Hidden, is immortal, because we cut off his head, and he was still talking. Danzo's eyes narrowed at that. He never heard of that kind of immortality, which seems to go beyond even what Orochimaru came up with. Then, the other guy, whose name was Kakazu, was able to stitch up Hidden's head and the guy was as good as new. Then there is the fact that Hidden has the power to reverse the damage dealt to himself, to someone else. He needs to take the victim's blood first, though. That's how he killed Asuma-sensei. He stabbed himself in the chest, and Asuma got the damage, even though there was no outside wound. Danzo was very interested in this Hidden guy. The type of immortality he has is exactly what he would need in order to rule Konoha forever, and to be able to take over the N and rule it as well. He will need to send some of his route to investigate and find Hidden, in order to capture him, so that he can be studied. Then there is Kakazu. Danzo knows of him. A former Taki ninja, who tried to kill the first Hokage, but failed. That guy is almost 100 years old, and if he is still alive and in such a fighting shape as Shikamaru and the others said, he also must have some kind of immortality. Danzo groaned in his head. Those two were probably the worst type of enemies Team 10 and the other ninja he sent on that god-forsaken mission could fight. They most certainly have no power in order to take out opponents like those two. Danzo was thinking for about 5 minutes, while the ninja in his office was standing quietly, and waiting to hear what the Hokage would say. After 5 minutes, Danzo spoke. You have 2 days to prepare yourself, he said to the remaining members of Team 10, who looked at him with raised eyebrows. I'm assuming you want revenge for what happened to Asuma, right? They nodded. Well then, I'm giving you a chance. I will send the 3 of you, along with Kakashi, Sasuke and few of my route. Your mission will be to find and capture Hidden and Kakazu, before you bring them here. You said that they are hard to kill, which is why I want you to just capture them and bring them. That should be much easier than killing them. Shikamaru wasn't so sure about that, but he didn't say anything. He was just happy that he has a chance to go after those two, even if he has to work with Kakashi, Sasuke and the Root. While he can tolerate Root members, as they are just emotionless tools, he can't stand Sasuke and Kakashi. Ino, Choji and Shikamaru nodded, before they left the office. The other ninja went their own way, to prepare for the funeral, that is, if there is going to be funeral, as there is no body to bury. XXX. Asuma found himself in the office of the Whirlpool's leader, standing in front of who he learned to be Alessandro's clone under transformation. Along with the two of them, Tayuya was also in the room, as well as all the other girls Naruto turned into human, hollow hybrids, or pure hollows. The only ones not there are Sako and Naruto himself. Asuma was very surprised by everything he saw so far, and is even more surprised by the fact that Alessandro has pretty much created a group of S and SS rank Kunoichi from all over the EN, under everyone's noses, and with no one being the wiser. Seeing this group of people in the office, and assuming that they are all around the same level as Alessandro, who, by the way, Asuma didn't know how powerful truly is, but could guess, Asuma couldn't help but wonder if the N would survive if Alessandro decides to take over. Sakura was also in the room, and she was barely able to stop herself from saying something unwanted. She wondered why Asuma was there, and wanted to ask, but she knew that she can't really say who she is, until she was allowed. What happened? Sayelaporo asked. Tayuya then went and explained everything she knew, and Asuma filled the blanks. Once they were finished, Sayelaporo sighed. So, it's the Akatsuki again, he said. I got to hand it to them, they sure know how to be around and mess with everyone's business. Sayelaporo then looked at Asuma and sighed again. I guess since you are with us now, you should learn few things, but most of them can wait except one, which is the most important. What you need to learn is that Alessandro Stark doesn't exist, Cielaporo said, getting raised eyebrows from Asuma. Asuma was surprised by the revelation, but then he remembered that Tayuya said that she and Alessandro are both Uzumaki, and then he understood that Alessandro came up with a fake name to hide that he is an Uzumaki. He did wonder though. From what he knew, Uzumaki all had red hair. It's their clan's trait, just like the Uchihas' black hair and black eyes for example. But then, there was Naruto Uzumaki, who was half Uzumaki, and had his father's blonde hair. Yes, Asuma knew who Naruto's parents were, just like many others in the village, but most of them didn't care and only saw him as either Kyuubi itself, or as a reminder of that night. Not counting Naruto, Asuma has never seen nor heard of any other Uzumaki who didn't have red hair. And now, there is this guy, who goes by the name, Alessandro Stark, in order to hide that he is Uzumaki. Asuma wondered why he is doing that if he is as strong as he thinks he is. Alessandro, or whatever his true name is an Uzumaki, and has the same shade of blonde hair as Naruto used to have. If Asuma didn't know any better, then he would have thought that Alessandro is either Naruto's older brother, or Naruto himself. But as far as he knew, 4th Hokage and Kushina Uzumaki didn't have any children before Naruto, and certainly not one who looks like he is in his mid-20s, which would mean that he would have been born when Minato and Kushina were around 15 or 16 years old. Now, while that is possible, it is unlikely, as at least he would have heard something about that child. As for Alessandro and Naruto being the same person, that appears to be even less likely, since Naruto is dead, and even if he is alive, he should be 15 years old, not around 23 or 24, which is the age Asuma assumes Alessandro is at. If Alessandro Stark doesn't exist, Asuma spoke. Then who is he? Cielaporo smirked. We are Naruto Uzumaki, of course. Asuma almost had a heart attack. XXX. Naruto walked into the palace which belonged to the daimyo of the Land of Rivers, and now, it belongs to him, with one of his blood clones, residing there and acting as the daimyo of the Land of Rivers. Naruto has unintentionally forgotten about this blood clone when he was making plans on which blood clone will watch over which part of the EN, which means that he wouldn't have a part of the continent to watch over. Naruto thought about it for a while, and came up with an idea. He is not sure, but it would be highly improbable that the EN are the only continent in the world. He assumes that there are others, and he wants to explore them and see what's on them. Thus, it was time to visit the first blood clone he created. Well, a very familiar voice came from the end of the hallway and from the chair at the head of the hallway. I almost thought you have forgotten about me. Naruto smirked. Actually, Naruto spoke. I did. His blood clone scowled, and when Naruto approached him, and took a look at his blood clone's form, he was surprised when he saw that he looks like Ichigo Kurosaki. Why do you look like that? Naruto asked. Blood clone Naruto shrugged. I wanted a change, he said. Kurosaki's appearance seems to be well accepted by the people here. They quite like it. Is that so? Naruto questioned and the clone nodded. So, to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Ichigo asked, as he stood from his chair, and walked down the hallway, Naruto following him. I was making some plans a while back, and I admit, I completely forgot about you, Naruto said, making his blood clone look at him with raised eyebrows. I thought you were joking, Ichigo questioned. No, I'm not, Naruto said. You are the first blood clone I created, and I decided to leave all the blood clones to live their lives instead of releasing them. Since I plan to rule over the EN as an emperor, I thought to leave the blood clone to watch over some parts of the EN, and make my job easier. You understand? Ichigo nodded. Now, the problem is that since I forgot about you, I don't have any part to leave to you to watch over, but I still don't want to release you, so I came up with something else. Naruto said. What would that be? Ichigo asked. I want you to leave the EN and see what's in the outside world. If Ichigo thought of all the things that his original would want from him, this was most definitely not one of them. I'm sure that there are other continents out there in the world, and I want to know about them. You are the perfect option to send, as I'm sure you will enjoy it more than to be stuck in one place. How nice of you to think of my well-being after forgetting about me for 3 years. Ichigo said with heavy sarcasm in his voice. Oh come on, Naruto said. You can't say that you didn't enjoy living in this palace for the last 3 years while not doing anything. Ichigo looked at Naruto for a few moments without saying anything, before he sighed. You've changed, Ichigo said, getting raised eyebrows from Naruto. You're not like the last time I saw you. You are less serious. It looks like you've mellowed down a little bit, didn't you? Naruto looked at his blood clone with narrowed eyes, before he smirked. Not that much. Ichigo smirked back. We'll see about that, Ichigo said. But even if you did, it's not a problem. It might actually be a good thing, as it means that there is much less chance of you destroying everything. It would be really boring living in the N if you went through with your original plan. It sure would be, Naruto agreed, before he smirked once again. Not to mention the amount of beautiful girls which would have died in vain. I hear you, man, Ichigo said with his own smirk. You should see the girls I have around me every single day. It's getting ridiculous. Ha 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 ha, Naruto laughed. You tell me, when I spent a lot of time with Tayuya, Taya and some other, equally beautiful girls. So you did find more girls on top of Tayuya and Taya? Ichigo questioned. Yes, Naruto replied. There are quite a few of them, and they are all very beautiful, talented and powerful. All in all, they are perfect. It makes me wonder how the other blood clones are doing, Ichigo wondered. Oh, they are doing fine, Naruto said. They were all able to get themselves some girls, even Taya has some girls. I tell you, I've ended up the only one without any girl, and yet, I'm surrounded by them. It's ridiculous. Ichigo shrugged. Well, we did live for over a millennia without any interest in opposite Shay, so I can't say I'm surprised that you are having trouble accepting the girls. I've also had that problem, but since I'm always in one place and always surrounded by hot girls, I was able to deal with it. And I've traveled all over the N for the last 3 years, and as such, I didn't have a chance to settle down, Naruto frowned. I guess I'll have to settle down in Whirlpool for a while. You do that, Ichigo said. By that point, the two of them were standing at the big garden with flowers at the back of the palace. They both went quiet for a while, just enjoying the scenery and quietness. It was finally interrupted by Ichigo, who sighed. When should I leave? Naruto looked at his blood clone and said. Not for a while, Ichigo raised his eyebrows at that. Stay here until I take over the N. After that, when another blood clone takes over for you, you can go. Fine, Ichigo said, but I'm taking my girls with me. There is no way I'm leaving them behind. Naruto smiled. That's fine with me, he said. Use this time before you leave to find some information on the other continents. There must be something somewhere, which can give you some information. You should also build yourself a big ship which can carry you everywhere, as you won't have any other means to go to other continents. Ichigo nodded. Don't worry, he said. I'll take care of everything. Naruto nodded. But anyway, Ichigo spoke again, and smirked. Let's go. I want you to meet my girlfriends. Naruto smiled and followed his blood clone back to the inside of the palace. XXX. The last of the two tails chakra was sucked out from the Yugito ni, thus, her body fell to the cavern floor. She was dead. The two tails has been sealed away, Pain commented. Only 4 more left. Finally, Hiden moaned out, as he was stretching his neck and limbs. This took forever. Come on Kakazu, let's go. I want to do some killing in the name of Jashin. No, Kakazu suddenly said. We are going to go and find Alessandro Stark. I want to repay him for that kick. And he also has a very high bounty on his head, so it will be perfect replacement for the bounty of that leaf ninja we killed, but lost due to Stark's interference. Hiden hummed. Now that you mention it, I do also want to have revenge against him. Yes, he will be a perfect sacrifice for the Jashin. Before any of the other Akatsuki could say anything, Hiden's and Kakazu's projections disappeared. The rest of the Akatsuki looked at each other, and Sako suddenly sighed. Well, they're dead, she said, and then looked at Pain, who looked back at her with raised eyebrows, while the others looked in either surprise or shock. You might as well start looking for replacements, because they will not be coming back. Trust me on that one. Sako was the only person who was really in that cavern, while the rest were just projections. So, she jumped from the finger of the statue, and landed next to Yugito's body in an instant, again shocking some members of the Akatsuki. As to them, it looked like she just teleported. Sako picked up Yugito's body, and tossed her over her shoulder, showing a surprising amount of physical strength, before she opened a garganta, and walked through it without saying anything else. The other members of the Akatsuki who were still there, watched in stunned silence at what they have just seen. None of them have ever seen such a jutsu, and were all wondering what that was. Now that is one hell of a space-time ninjutsu, Kisame said while looking at the place where Sako opened what looked like black hole and just stepped through it, disappearing from everyone's sight. I've never before seen or heard of something like that. Neither have I, Pain added. She didn't use that in our battle. It makes me wonder, why? It's certainly an interesting move. It might not be meant for battle, Itachi said sounding disinterested, but he was in fact, very interested. Maybe that's why she didn't use it in your battle. Maybe, Pain agreed, but he was not so sure. He decided to investigate this more closely, as he doesn't want surprises. He will just have to find a way on how to do it, since Sako doesn't have a partner, and will be working alone. She is most certainly skilled enough to capture any Jinchuriki on her own. Pain was sure of that ever since she almost defeated him. In the end, he decided to task Zetsu with keeping a watch over her, if possible, which he suddenly doubts after seeing that space-time jutsu, but he has to try. Right. You are all dismissed, Pain addressed to the other members of the Akatsuki. We will meet again once we have our hands on the three tails, which should resurface very soon. Toby and Zetsu, you two are to take care of that. Zetsu nodded, while Toby said nothing and was completely quiet, which surprised everyone who thought he will start yelling some crap like he usually does. Now though, he seemed to be deep in thought. That woman is very dangerous, Toby thought in his head, while on his face, beneath his mask, there was sweat rolling. Very, very dangerous. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.